Welcome to Mick and the Psychic, where we leave no stone unturned as we explore all things outside the apparent physical realm.
There is no intent to teach or make you believe or disbelieve anything. It is just a safe space to listen and explore with us.
So for this next episode, you have permission to open your heart and mind as you join myself and Xavier on this deep dive into the unknown.
Just for a bit. A lot of us has been taught, like, don't feel that. You got to get on with life. Like, don't be an inconvenience to me. I believe it's letting them flow just like nature flows and doesn't think. I think that's how we're meant to be as well. Actually, I know it's not. I know it's meant to be like that.
This week on the show, we have Vanessa Cirocco from Mystic Goddess Healing. After multiple traumas and being at her lowest point after going to therapy and doing things to make her feel better, she was guided to a spiritual center where she began her journey of discovering who she is. She woke up to a spiritual side, started healing herself, and has turned her pain into purpose. She's an energy healer who uses her personal experiences and intuition to help lost souls find their way back to their balance and helps empower every client she has in any area of their life. She wants everyone to know that no matter how many times you fall, you will rise and become stronger than you were before, which, you know, I've done this intro 4 times in a row, so I'll take that on, Vanessa. That's fantastic. And we get to hear more about your story today. Yay. Thank you. Welcome to the show.
Okay. Thank you for having me, and you did so well.
Thank you very much. That was for the audience out there, the 4th or 5th time I tried to read that script, which wasn't very hard at all. But you know, this is kind of like a great start to what you've done with your life as well.
It's true. It's reality. Like, life will try and test you many, many times, but you just got to keep going. You're like, well, I'm not giving up, so I got to keep trying again.
Love it. So tell us, Vanessa, and I've got to draw attention to the fact that, you know, for those watching on video, we did not purposely color coordinate today. We're all wearing shades of green jumpers or tops, and it's quite interesting. So maybe today's all about love and healing.
Definitely. It's crazy. I still can't believe it. It shocks me every time something weird happens. I'm still shocked. So
we look like we're celebrating St. Patrick's Day, but that's all right.
That's okay.
to be sure. It is interesting. Like, we do get shocked at things. I just want to pick up on that. Like, I remember I was a youth worker for 11 years, and like 11 years into it, I was still shocked at the resilience and amazing things that young people kind of go through and can push through and do and what they're capable of. And I always said, why am I shocked? I'm such a terrible youth worker to be continually shocked at how amazing young people are. But maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's what keeps you, I don't know, curious or interested.
Yeah,
definitely. I think what I've always thought about is youth and elderly and how the opposite sides can teach each other things. So yeah, I think that everyone has an important role to play. So
hopefully we're not in the elderly group, Michael.
No, I'm just talking about the opposites, like
the
big differences. But yeah, we can learn from everyone.
We're getting there at the same speed as Vanessa.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, it's
so
okay.
That's fine.
Age is still the same. So Vanessa, tell us, I know a bit about your story. Like, I met you, that was the energy healing center that you chose. So you can we can get to that at some stage, but we'd love to know, share whatever you like, whether you want to start heavy and why you were looking in the first place, or just talk about what happened for you, what changed, what shifted. Like, where would you like to start?
Yeah, so it started with family life, I guess. That's probably the start. I mean, I feel like it starts from birth, but that's a whole other story. But I guess my awakening started with my family and that kind of falling apart a bit. And then I got into, you know, different relationships, and I was always like surrounded by like toxic men, or I say toxic, but people who just needed healing. And, you know, I went through a few traumas, so like seeing trauma, and then I went through personal trauma, so sexual assault and domestic violence. And I already feel a bit shaky because I know that some viewers might feel like this is maybe something they don't want to hear, but if you're feeling triggered, that means you probably need to heal as well. So I went through those, and I was just at my lowest. I was like, you know what, why is this happening to me? And I was like, I need to do something. I was stuck in the house for 6 months, and by stuck, I mean like I physically could not leave that door. I was like, no, I don't want to face the world. I'm too scared. I was, you know, having all those labels. I can't do this. I can't see anyone. I can't. And I was like, I got to my wit's end. And I was like, I need change. I want to change. I can't live life like this anymore. So I got therapy and that helped. And I found gratitude. I was like, I'm just going to give this thing a go. I don't know if it works. I actually have never heard of it before in my life. And I gave it a go. So I started journaling in my bed. I am grateful for, and I looked around me, I had my little dog, and she was like my therapy dog because she was there for comfort when no one else knew how to comfort me. No humans, like when people are going through things, I noticed in my life when I was struggling, just wanted me to get better. Just get better.
So that
get better, do this, do that.
Yeah,
and I was like,
I
I don't know how to right now. But my dog just looked at me in my eyes and was just like, she knew. She just was so present and there. So she helped, and I was grateful for her. And then I started seeing signs after all this. As soon as I had that just a little bit of hope and a little bit of gratitude, that's when it all started changing. That's when I started seeing signs. Also, I want to add in here, because I was actually reflecting on things yesterday unintentionally. And it was also after my friend that I was really close with in high school committed suicide. So I feel like that's when I may have been guided by her. She might have been working with my team at the time. And I saw signs, and then I was driving down the street that I always drive down, and I saw the Eye of Horus, which was on the center that I went to on their advertising. And I was like, because I had another experience. I saw it when I was returning a dog to its owner, and because it was lost. And then the owner had the Eye of Horus tattooed on his arm. And then I was like, I need to go into the spiritual center. I need to go. And then I just booked in a reading with a name that I saw on the website, Xavier. Don't even know why. Now I do, but I saw that, and then that's when my life changed. Just getting in contact with a healer's energy, and guiding me in the way that, like, they just know, like therapists do help. They give you tools and help you along the way, and they kind of unwire the trauma in your brain. But a healer is just a deeper level. It's like they're accessing things that you can't see with your regular eyes, I guess you could say, just your two eyes. And that's when it all started changing. Better experiences started happening in my life. I started feeling more joy. I started feeling more vibrant. And then I realized along the way, I've had a lot of rememberings from when I was a teenager, when I was a child, I had my first, I could ramble, but I actually met someone in a bathroom who was also a Reiki practitioner. And she's like one of the people who told me I had problems with my throat chakra. So all growing up, I was very quiet. And then when I did speak, people would always judge what I had to say, or, something like that. So I realized that my power is actually speaking up for people who have injustices, or people who are misunderstood, or something like that. So yeah, it's made me realize my purpose, and I have to fight for things in this life and help people get out of, really shitty situations.
Yeah.
So
for you to see, because obviously the signs for you were like a guide towards your purpose, I suppose, for lack of a better word. You said for you, gratefulness was like the key to unlock
that's great realization.
the vision of science.
Yes.
Can you speak more on that? Like, do you understand more about like why gratefulness, or what that is, or was it just a thing that opened you up?
I think it was a thing that opened me up, because as I've reflected, I've noticed as growing up, there isn't really, and maybe it's just my life, but a lot of people tend to lean towards drama or negativity. So in my experience, that's what I was surrounded by. So even when I heard the word practicing gratitude, I was like, what is this? Because it was something so unfamiliar to me. And as soon as I unlocked that, it's like something awoke inside me as well. Like, just, I saw, like, I remember being so deep and like dark in like it was deep in depression, and I couldn't even like it like seemed like the world was black and white. And then I remember going for walks, and as I started practicing more and more gratitude and noticing flowers and stuff, everything started looking brighter. Like that's where things started to change, and that's where gratitude really does work. If you and you have to want it so bad for yourself too, like to feel better. It's so hard when you've been through a lot of like crappy things.
Of course.
So you have to really want it as well. You have to find just that little bit of spark that will just, yeah. And then I felt more connected to myself. Felt more connected to everything around me. Because before that, I didn't even want to be here. So
yeah,
it works. Well, for me, it did as well. So
we love interviewing experts from different fields about all things outside the apparent physical realm.
and the one constant is that these phenomena are transmitted through energy.
So we sought out and teamed up with Subtle Energy Science
To bring you, our listeners,
energetically encoded technology you can use on your phone, laptop, computer, or tablet,
turning your device into a powerful personal quantum energy tool.
We're not the creators, nor are we qualified enough to explain it, but there is a mind-blowing number of scientific studies available on their website.
And we get to try their range ourselves so we can give you an honest review.
So for the month of August, we've got 20% off aura clearing with promo code MATP-861.
From balancing chakras to clearing stagnant energy, this product helps you raise your vibration.
It worked great during school runs for myself and the kids after the morning rush. Plus, I'll be using with my clients to amplify my work.
Make sure you use the link in the show notes and back to the show. So it feels like it was potentially, because I don't know, I guess, and we'll talk a little bit later about, you threw in there your team. It'd be great to work out like what sort of team and where they are,
yes,
and kind of what Guernsey they wear, and they're probably wearing green.
yeah,
but also like it's as if like perhaps those things were always there, but the gratitude changed your perspective to then notice them. Is it just a way of like the colors were always there, the signs were always there, maybe the support from the other side spiritually was always there. It's just your perspective needed to shift to see that.
Correct.
Is that kind of what happened? Right.
Definitely. Because as I've reflected, I've noticed things before my spiritual awakening where I was like, I totally missed that and didn't even see it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, how did I miss that? But because I was so like, I must have been blocked. I did have like health issues when I was younger. And, even my awakening, like everything happened at once. I changed my diet. And that led to me breaking up with the partner I had at the time. Then I went off the pill. Like everything was just kind of happening. And then that's when I became like a cleaner, I guess, being. And so I could channel and see things clearer because I wasn't full of acidity and stuff that wasn't needed in my body. Xavier also helped me with that stuff as well. So yeah.
I didn't help you, your higher self. They just told
she
me.
did. She guided me and helped. Guided. Her team helped my team.
Exactly. I like that.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Someone that, whether you're a healer or a therapist or whatever you are, you're not going to be perfect yourself. You're not going to be necessarily even more spiritual than the other person that you're helping. But if you're clear enough to get out of the way and allow to serve, then the magic happens on a higher level, I guess, spiritually, doesn't it? Like
definitely. Like at the start, it was so exciting and fun. I was like, ooh, yeah. And then as you get deeper, you're like, oh, I've got more stuff to unpack. Ooh, there's more stuff here. But it's hard work as well. I don't want to make it look like the spiritual journey is all magic and rainbows and butterflies and it's all cute and aesthetic. It's not. It's really ugly. I'm on the floor crying. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta get all this out. And it's scary, and you don't have to do it alone either, which is what I always try to tell people, because it can be a bit rough sometimes.
I love that you brought all that up, because a lot of people think like going to see a psychic, it's all fluffy, we tell your fortune and they don't understand. So yeah, I love how you explain that going to see like a psychologist and get counseling, it might be perfect and that's all somebody needs, but for not everybody. Like we are all guided to the right. Some will be hypnotherapists like Michael.
Yes.
And there's all different kinds of modalities, and we just go to exactly what we need, which we've talked about on this show many times. And for you, seeing a psychic was exactly what you needed, and it helped you because that's your journey, and you're supposed to do this work too, which you're doing
Yes.
now, and attracting the kind of clients that have had similar experiences or different things, but you're learning and being the best version of yourself because of all the work you've done, so you can now help them with similar things, which is just really cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I love that you said that. It's messy. It's not like easy, fluffy stuff. We don't teach you to just send stuff away. Like, it can get uncomfortable, and if you're not willing to do the work and you just expect somebody to wave a magic wand and make all your problems go away, that's not what psychics are for. All the right psychics for your healing are for.
Yeah.
Sure.
And if that doesn't resonate with you, then that's fine.
Yeah, find the right kind of modality that will suit you for your journey.
Exactly.
I think as well that the phrase "easy come, easy go," and a lot of us have heard that from our parents when it's, you know, pocket money and stuff. But I think that's really similar with when you're getting healing as well. If you see someone and they do some magic thing and you're like, wow, that's great, and there's no work involved, that's not necessarily going to last for a very long time. When something's really hard and, you know, you've had to work at it, it's going to last a lot longer. Yeah, I mean, there's those times where things can happen and it was just like maybe a negative energy that had to be cleared, or I don't know. Are there things that with that where there could be like a spirit or something that you could detach and life gets really better? Are there things that can happen really quickly as well? Either of you, I'm speaking to any psychic in the room.
Do you want to tap in, Xavier, or do you want me to
go for it?
Okay. I feel like there can be people who maybe unintentionally want to send you, well, not even send it to you. They might just be feeling like crappy, so then they unintentionally, their energy rubs off onto you. That's why it's important to protect yourself. But I mean, I definitely feel energies, like I feel spirit, but I think my guides, I had another healer tell me that mine really love laughing, like my team. So I'll just laugh stuff off, even, like that will help me, because that's a high vibration, vibrational thing to do.
Sure.
But yeah, I guess I've heard of darker sort of entities and stuff, interfering with people's energy fields. But nothing personal to me or anything like that I can really touch on. But I'm sure, I believe in it. So
yeah. Yeah, they're a bit cheeky like that. From what I've learned and experienced with clients and things, that people who are lower vibrational because they're going through some tougher times, or they're substance abuse, or just in a really dark place, it's easier for the darker entities to attach to them. So sometimes you need to see someone like a psychic to actually have that removed for you, because other kind of modalities, they can help with advice, but unless the entity is actually cleared from their aura or within them, no amount of 12-step programs or anything actually going to help.
So that won't then just fix them instantly either. They're still going to have, that just allows them to do the work to.
Yeah, they have to learn that. Have to imagine, if you've been really low and feeling really crappy, and then this stuff gets cleared, they have to get to know themselves again, forgive themselves for what they've done or said or thought during that time, and then actively make some changes to prevent that kind of thing from happening again. Raise your vibration, do it. Like, they still have to do some work. Things and change things and uplift themselves, so they can't just have somebody else do everything for them. They're just like a starter. Like when we balance someone's chakras, like we educate, and this is how I taught Vanessa, educate them about their chakras and how to continue to keep them balanced and maintained. So you don't have to keep relying on a psychic or somebody else to do it. It doesn't help us get repeat clients.
Yeah, what the heck are you guys doing?
It helps them so they're educated and they know what to do to help themselves. But sometimes we do still need to go see somebody else as well, because it's just nice having. It's like, if you're a massage therapist, it's a bit hard to give yourself a massage sometimes. It's nice to just receive and get someone else to do it for you.
That's true.
In between, you can maintain and do your best to keep going and take responsibility for your own happiness.
Yeah, and I like what you said about you might still need, help, because, in life we go through like so many different stages, and there might be something new that you're presented with, and you might need a support system, because we're meant to help each other as humans. We're not meant to do this stuff alone. If we're meant to be alone, then we'd be alone, but we're all here together, so we're meant to reach out and ask for help.
Yep, love it.
I was just going to ask, particularly around resilience, or continually coming back and working through things. That's pretty hard, and people can find it really tough. Obviously, what are ways that you can pick yourself up and keep going? What are things that people can do to just, when they're feeling crappy, to continue?
Yeah, I highly recommend having a ritual or some sort of routine that you go back to. For me, I actually have a room. So, but you can take these things outside the house as well. But I have a room where I have all my favorite things, all my things that that remind me why I'm here and doing what I'm doing. And, that includes things like scents, maybe fabrics, like soft fabrics, anything that helps you get grounded, back to earth, especially if you're someone who gets up in your head when things go wrong. So anything, just reminders. For me, I like having colors and just stuff like that. Or a book with reminders. I like a book. It's called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, because you can pretty much pick any page and it's just got really helpful tips.
Wow.
I love oracle cards, picking out a card. A really good one I like is, it's like a healing deck. I can't remember the name, but it's good for when you're struggling. Just having a ritual, anything you can go to when you're not feeling ready to confront the things, but something's going on, and then making yourself feel safe in your body to then tackle them when you're ready to face them.
So when you say that, with a ritual, is that something that you've built up because that there's going to be a time where things get really hard, so you kind of set that up beforehand so it's easy to do? Or is it something that in the moment you just scramble to find whatever?
I definitely have a room. I also like running my hands underwater, because that's a good energy cleanse.
Wow.
And that's also, you can kind of do anywhere, if you're at work or out in public, you can go to a bathroom and just run your hands underwater.
You might not have access to all your stuff like that.
Because people are probably going okay, if I'm not home, how am I going to do this? But there's always ways. Carrying crystals, even just touching them. So you're obviously getting the energy of the crystal, and then you're also grounding yourself by touching them. So just having things ready, prepared, you would, I don't know, you wake up and you have your coffee, just anything that's ritual, based. So it's there whenever you're preparing for worst case scenario, really.
Yeah.
More of it, I guess. But if you're someone has anxiety or other things that, you might get triggered easily in certain situations. You've been through stuff you have. So I love that your advice is so on point for people. There's so many people would resonate with that preparation and being a bit organized, so you have something to fall back on. Yes, really definitely. Like Michael said, you have that scrambling feeling. That probably would be, you're not going to think of it when you're stressed or in the moment, but if you've got your reminder, palm stone, I like those palm shaped flat stones. If that's something you keep in your pocket, that's something you could just rub between your hands and put your energy in that. Maybe it takes it for you.
Definitely. Create connecting, because it comes from the earth. You're connecting to earth, really. And just grounding back to her, because she's got you.
We say grounding a lot, because I know this comes up a lot with my clients. Vanessa, you can tell me if it's the same for you, but they would often say, when we get given the advice if we're stressed or something, to just let it go. So I say, I say to my clients, so how do you let it go? And they're like, I don't know. People say let it go all the time, and that's what we're talking about now when you mentioned grounding. So that's putting its intention. So just imagine that everything going on in your mind and your heart, that's how I say it, because it's usually where you feel it the most, in your head and your heart. Just imagine sending it away down your body, out through your feet into the earth. That's a way. Or you can do it in the shower, but you can't always have a shower. You can imagine it. You just imagine that you're getting cleansed by a beautiful magical waterfall that's releasing everything for you and sending it away. It's just intention. You just have to think about it. If you have a crystal and your intention is that you're putting whatever the heck's going on in your head into the crystal, so it doesn't have to worry you and it releases from your body, it's done. And if you feel like the crystal's overloaded, then you might want to give it a cleanse every now and then to make sure it's got room for you to put all the rest of your shit in.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's cool. Even looking after your crystals is like, it's like you're looking after yourself because you're looking after something else. Like it works hand in hand.
Yeah.
I love
Mm.
that.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So like having a ritual and having these things to do, it's feels like the opposite of what, you know, you mentioned earlier when, you know, if someone's down, and we find we do it as humans all the time, for our own selfish sake. We don't mean it, but we want the person to feel better. And we say things like, you'll be better tomorrow, or things will pick up. And really, we're just saying that for ourselves so that we feel better about the situation, that the other person feels crap and there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah. It sounds like friends of Vanessa was saying, you know, and they just want you to hurry up and get better because they don't
That
want
happens with everyone. And like it will happen with you. Visit
yeah.
someone in hospital and you will find yourself saying, oh, well, hopefully things will pick up. Like you'll do it yourself. Like it'll happen, even though you're, you know, so this feels like a very opposite thing, because if you're grounding, it's like you're sitting with it and allowing it to be, and allowing yourself to feel.
Yeah.
Is that like picking it back up and having earth help you? Is that a way of kind of not worrying about getting better, but just sitting with what it is? Or is there more to it with the rituals?
I think what you said is spot on. It's allowing that feeling to come in and let it flow instead of staying stuck. Because when it stays stuck, that's when you start getting health issues. That's when your chakras start blocking. This gets easier the more you practice as well. For me at the start, it was really hard work. I was like used to blocking my emotions, or because I think I'm a very emotional person as well. So people would be like, oh, she's being like this again. And I'm like, well, as humans, we're meant to feel emotions. All emotions are normal. And I think a lot of us are afraid to feel them. But if we feel them, it flows. I believe the more we flow, more everything in the world flows. That's why we keep finding blocks in the real, everything we're seeing, the stuff that's happening, it's all us. It's all working at the same vibration. That's why things happen. Even with lockdowns, I believe it was a block, because we all needed to just sit and feel. We need to relax and just actually get in touch with ourselves.
Yeah.
Just for a bit.
Some people did amazing and some people would have really struggled with it. So it's like just all of us. Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of us has been taught, like, don't feel that. You got to get on with life. Like, don't be an inconvenience to me. Yeah, so that's what I believe. I believe it's letting them flow, just like nature flows and doesn't think. I think that's how we're meant to be as well. Actually, I know it's not. I know it's meant to be like that.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a question which might be what you think, not necessarily what you know, because I actually don't know who on this planet is qualified to answer this question. The stuff that you go through, the stuff that people go through, do you think like we're meant to suffer? Like, obviously you are who you are because of what you've been through and what you've been able to grow through, and that might all be like really positive, what's come out of it or what's coming out of it. I guess we're all coming out of it. No one's there yet. Do you think, what do you think about suffering? Is suffering something that we're meant to experience, or are we just making something from a good thing? Yes, I'm trapping you into a very difficult question.
I love this question because this is the question I ponder frequently.
Okay.
Because I believe, in my experience in my lifetime, with my suffering, I've realized such empowerment from it, which is so crazy, because a lot of people will continue to, it depends on how you look at suffering, I guess. It's perspective, because my suffering led to me believing in myself more and understanding myself deeper. Whereas some people, I mean, at the start, like, I was very hateful towards, you know, circumstances and the people. But as soon as I changed my perspective, I got better. Like, I became a more evolved person. I look back at my old self. I love my old self, and I understand what was happening there, but I'm just evolving. So I think it's all perspective, and because maybe in an ideal world there will be less, because I mean, no one really enjoys the suffering, but I think we have to go through it. It's like yin and yang. You can't have one without the other. Will it ever like be just wholeness? I'm not sure. I can't answer that question.
Because I guess the next part of that question would be that would you want someone else to go through what you went through?
Oh, never.
Yeah.
I wouldn't wish it upon my worst enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think as a society we've become less loving. I still see so much judgment. And I'm just like, if we're all one, then why are we treating other people like that? Why? I just don't understand how people can be so hateful. Like, I want everyone to be happy and like loving. Like, whereas like I feel like I'm just searching for in the world. Like, let's keep focusing on that, because I feel like people make decisions based on their own suffering. And if we don't heal that stuff, we're going to put that onto other people, which causes more suffering. So yeah, that's where I'm at with that. So good question though. I love that.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like, yeah, this is a big topic. I like talking
It's a
about.
big topic.
Sorry,
Because-
ladies. I'll put you
because you-
both in it. I'm not going to answer it myself. I'm just going to throw you both in it and
Thinking
go.
about how, yeah.
Let the internet hate you, whichever way you go. It's great.
It's a tricky one to explain. Like
It is.
like you were saying, like I feel like I'm optimistic and hopeful, and that there will be a time in the future. I don't know how far ahead in the future. I might not be alive for it in this body, where everyone is more loving towards each other, because we don't have to learn about getting through and appreciating life on the other side after suffering. We'll be able to do it without it. So if we need to have lessons and go through some stuff, and the point is, so we figure out how to come out of it, then people are choosing to help us with that and be the ourselves in our lives so we can go through the lesson. So eventually you would think that every time we come back, we're learning and growing. And that's why I believe there's more awakened people that are getting in touch with the spiritual side now than there ever was, because they're getting through the lessons and they're becoming out, like they're finding that, I believe, once you've connected to that spiritual side of yourself, you're actually wanting to grow, you understand that you'll never know everything, you're constantly learning and know there's a bigger picture. That means you're closer to not having to come back anymore. You're at the end, you're getting towards the end, you know? So the more that happens, the less people will have to come and help us with their lessons, and the less horrible stuff will happen. Then there's other forces in play and entities and stuff, so I don't know where that comes in. But I feel like that's why, you know, horrible things still happen to, you know, beautiful people and children. And you think, why would anyone wish that on themselves? It's hard to say, but I know that, you know, a child is a beautiful child and they might have been here 100 times before. So their soul has had lots of experiences. And even though they seem like this sucks, they don't deserve this, it's not a punishment. It's something they've chosen to go through for some messed up reason that they need to learn and evolve. Because I know people are listening thinking, well, why would I want that? You know, wouldn't wish this on anybody else. I wouldn't wish things on people. But at the same time, when you said that, Vanessa, I'm just like, actually, if it helps them learn faster and they don't have to come here as often and they go through their shit, then that's just what they chose.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't sympathize, I empathize. Like, I look at somebody who might be completely disabled in a wheelchair, they can't function, and I look at them and go, wow, I wonder why you chose this life. That's so interesting. I don't think, oh, you poor bugger, that sucks. I'm just like, wow, look at you. Like, you're taking a big lesson for the team this time. Like, good job. I just look at it differently now because I know, or
yes,
I know, I feel like,
yeah, definitely. Like,
hard to explain without offending people, but if you, like you said, if you get triggered by that, then it's something.
I'll call myself out. In a past life, I was probably caused suffering, so that's why I had to experience a bit of suffering in this life. But in this life, I'm choosing to rise above it instead of continuing down the same cycle as I would in my past life.
Or maybe in an abusive, you said you went through domestic violence and things, so maybe last time you put up with it too long, you didn't pull yourself out of it, and you had a worse outcome for yourself than the amazing way you pulled yourself out and improved. Maybe you didn't do anything last time and you went downhill and you turned to drugs and other things, like, so this time you decided to come back and try it again, and maybe your lessons are a little different to help you get out of it. Maybe I've gone, actually, I'll help you with it this time, and I can be the psychic you come and see at the right time. You know, that's how we all help each other. And so then you're doing a better job at it this time. And so hopefully you kick all the goals and you don't have to come back and do it again.
Yeah.
You probably, maybe there's other lessons for you to do. So,
exactly. Like a different, like, okay, I learned that. I still want to work on that one a bit better. So you come back and just choose to focus on that particular lesson. Everything else is like cruisy. That's how I believe it works.
And it sounds that sounds like it's not very empathetic to the person going through the suffering at the time. And I just want to premise that obviously you don't, if someone's suffering, you guys don't sit next to people and go, well, this is what you chose and good luck, you're going well. Good job. Like it's
all bad luck, you asked for it. It's not
there's
like
clearly empathy there as well for the person suffering, because we, as humans, we all to some degree do suffer from different things at different levels and experience it differently. I wonder then, talking about timing, because we've talked about timing before, and particularly around that need for someone to just get better, with this in light of, well, perhaps the person, wherever they're at, it's not about just getting better and moving on. Maybe there's other things at play, not worrying so much about them getting better. Do you think like timing with suffering as well plays a certain part that we're not in control of, I guess?
Oh, definitely. I think it has to play a part, because I believe if you're not moving forward, there's a reason. There's some healing that needs to be done, something that needs to be unpacked, something you need to see. And then once you do that, then the opportunities and experiences start opening up to you, so you can see clearer and you're not being blocked.
So is that why, like with the rituals and things, and looking at sitting with whatever it is and giving that the time and the, I guess, the respect for whatever you're going through, is a way to move it forward rather than just thinking about getting better?
Yeah, honoring yourself. So I believe, I think if we want to be able to help other people in the world, especially what we do, me and Xavier, and obviously you too, Michael, we have to look after ourselves first too. If we're constantly filling up other people's cups, we're not filling up our own, and not learning as we go, how are we meant to help other people if we don't work through it? Like, so that's what I've learned. If the more in touch you are with yourself and learning about who you are, the more you'll be able to relate to other people as well.
Yep.
And sorry.
I was just going to say, I love Ram Dass, and Ram Dass has always said, the only thing that I can do for you is work on me. The only thing you can do for me is work on you. And it's like, that's just what it comes down to, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Love that. My favorite, one of my favorites.
And I was just going to say, a good example of that is like, this is the second time we attempted to do this interview with you, Vanessa, because you needed to honor yourself because you were going through some stuff. So that was like, that's how it works. So you could have just, jumped on and did the interview regardless, but you knew you needed to heal whatever you were going through at the time so you could be your best self. And you don't just do it for the sake of other people. You need to look after yourself first. So it was really good that you did honor that, and you're timing. It's all about the timing.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of trust there when you trust the timing, though, right?
Yes.
You talk about your team, your laughing team.
Yeah.
I think my team's a bunch of smart asses. But can you talk to me about like what is your team, and like who they are, what they do? Do they have different roles or?
Yeah, a lot of my team is ones that have, rising from the darkness. Ganesh.
So this is on the spirit side, right? We're not talking about.
No, spirit side, spirit team. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Preference.
Yeah. So Ganesh, I've got us Isis as well. I believe my friend who passed away is there. She always comes through with like, this is in the physical reality, like butterflies. It represents, the cocoon phase, and then, becoming the butterfly from the cocoon, and trusting in that darkness that everything's going to turn out even more beautiful than it was before. So they're like, just having that as a reminder is so special, because you'll be doing I'll be like in the darkness, but then I'll see a butterfly. I'm like, okay, I remember why this is happening, So yeah, it's really nice having a spirit team. Yeah, but the ones that laugh, I'm not sure who exactly is laughing. They haven't really told me. I don't know. It's probably my friend, because I did laugh with her a lot. We're always laughing. She is someone who also really struggled in life, and I think we we're both each other's light. So yeah, she's probably just giggling up there for me and just making me laugh, because I'm always laughing when I see signs. So then when I work with clients too, I'll laugh. I'm like, sorry if I'm laughing. It's just because it's actually helping me tap into what I need to tap into.
Wow. Yeah.
But it helps me. So I remember seeing someone, I think a lady host classes literally just laughing, and then everyone will just start laughing, and that just helps them. So it's a powerful tool.
Yeah, I think there's laughing yoga or something you can do, like those group laughing. It's energy, yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess it's a playful and curious way to explore. And when we're in that state, we're in a much more open state. It's like the opposite to being judgy and negative. Because I hate myself when I'm judgy. When I judge things, I can't stand being around myself. Whereas, when we're having fun and we're laughing and curious, like it's like great. It's great to be around yourself. So it must be the opposite.
Definitely. You're right there, that's for sure.
State of being to be in, like, I know you're saying, like, because that the butterflies are her, and so that pulled you out of the darkness, for example. It's a great reminder. Yes, thank you, I needed that. So I just get the empathy then goes to all the people that have no idea about the signs, and then you go through life, you're stuck in your bubble of sadness because you're blaming the world for everything going on with you. You're reacting to it negatively. You don't know what the light is, or like what some signs are that the universe had you back. Because no matter what you're into, everybody has spirit guides and or angels or some kind of team around them. And so when they don't know, it's just like, damn, I wish everybody knew. So that's why this podcast is awesome, and why it's so nice to have people like you, Vanessa, helping. And so you can teach them about this stuff. And then the more people that find out that there are signs on how to notice them, because if we're walking around with blinkers on because we're really in a bad mood, you're not actually even looking sideways to notice there's a butterfly there, or there's something else there that signifies something else important for you to the other side, because you're just focused on being grumpy.
Yes.
So that's beautiful. So what's the most common thing you help your clients with? What kind of clients are you attracting and really enjoy? What lights you up? What's your niche? What do you love doing with your clients?
My niche is confidence, balanced mental health, a lot of mental health, a lot of clients that struggle with mental health issues. I have really, I'm very interpersonal, because I've also struggled with it and come out of it. And help them, any spiritual guidance, because I know what it's like to be in the dark and not notice them. So I know how to do the things to actually get you balanced and more open and receptive to universal energy and the earth's energy and the signs, and realize that you are being guided, you just don't see it, and that's okay too, because that's your journey and that's where you're at. But if you want it for yourself, it will happen. You just have to want it so bad.
So once people are a bit more balanced and perhaps you can help them with that, what are some of the signs that are out there that people can notice? Like what are things like popular signs? So for you, it's quite symbolic with the butterfly, but what are some of the signs that we know, oh wait, that's not a coincidence?
Well, I like to see it as people, what their interests are. What are you interested? What were you interested in as a child? When I was a child, I was interested in animals. I love animals so much. So they always show up in animal signs. When I was guided to the spiritual center, it was a dog. So notice what your interests are. If you're a maths person, it's probably numbers. If you, I don't know, if you like just a specific interest. So it could also be, I don't know, transport even. It could be you see a bus go by and you were thinking about something to okay, that's my sign. It could be literally anything. So just look for your interests, I'd say.
Yeah.
So your own passions or interests, you'll notice different things and they'll have different meanings to you. So how do you know the difference between just something that pops up and something that's a sign?
You'll know. if you work with if you work in getting in touch with your knowing psychic ability and tapping into that, And just notice how you feel in your body. I believe you're meant to feel safe. You're not meant to feel, you know, uneasy or anxiety. But if you're in that state, you might just need to book in like a session and get that cleansed or cleanse yourself first. But yeah, anything that makes you feel safe and uplifted, that's when you know it's the right sign.
That's a good definition. If you're feeling anxious about it, it could be the ego in protection mode, like after you, but that nice safety feeling of butterflies in your stomach or just feeling comfortable or goosebumps. Like goosebumps are a sign for me. Of getting all tingly, like, oh, that feels like that's a good feeling. Another one I've noticed for mediumship is if it's someone you're thinking about helping you out with a sign, one that relates to them, for example. So say, you know, your grandma always cooked this certain dish for you that you really loved and you smell that or something. When you're thinking of something and you're like for guidance, and then you smell that, you're like, oh, yep, she's sending her approval or likes that idea or she's with me.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that makes sense. And like things like music, if a song reminds you of someone and it comes on the radio as you're driving in the car and you're just like, what? I was just thinking about that person. Or
about a decision, like I like the idea of changing jobs, and then you hear that song, like, so that be the sign that you were like, just paying attention.
So who's giving the signs then? Like, where are the signs being playfully dropped around you to help guide you to
it could be your spirit team. It could be even just connection to source, universal energy. I think it's kind of, I feel like it's mapped out in a way. And I believe everything's happening as it's meant to. Everything is just flowing as it's meant to. When there's blocks, they're meant to happen at that time. So yeah, signs are meant to come in, like they're probably from your spirit team, most likely.
Yeah, right. And then back to timing again, you just got to trust the timing.
Trust is a big thing. Especially if you're someone who's very like you know, is very like overthinking, just like trust is like a good word to kind of like bring that back to ease, and just like knowing that there's, you know, something bigger than just ourselves working at play.
Which is a little bit freeing as well then, because then it's not all up to you, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
I reckon it might be a bit of both. Like we have timing, we have a plan that we made before we come here, but I know soul contracts can like adjust depending on what we've done. So sometimes we might not have, like there might have been a timing that had planned to do something or meant to do something and we didn't do it then. And so we get a kick out the bum in a different way from the universe or our higher self or our spirit team, to try to like edge you along because you missed the boat kind of thing, but you'll still get there in the end. Like it's just, you might have just missed like you missed the boat, you didn't get on it, but you got on it like 2 years later. It's like, it's
like a reroute. Like you're going a different direction to go to the same place.
For something into the world. Sometimes I get clients about a decision they're trying to make with a job, for example, or something, and both outcomes look good, whichever they choose. And it's like, well, you're going to be supported regardless, because the end goal is over here. We're focusing on these 2 steps. Both of them are going to get you to this one, which is maybe how you feel about life and yourself or whatever. But they can both get you this. It doesn't matter which you do. So that trust thing is like such a big deal, knowing that you're going to figure it out regardless. Just try to let it go.
And I wonder as well, like if this is something where there are contracts beforehand, or we do have some plans or things are laid out, there's like what, 1 billion of us playing the game at once down here.
They all mix in
so
together.
One changes that, and there's like, I mean, the amount of, you're going to do this, but now it's this way. I mean, the complexity of how we all connect and how that would be just so mind-bogglingly, you know, there's no computer program that would be able to keep up with all the variables there. So I guess you kind of have to trust in something, don't you? Like, if that's the case though, like what are you trusting in then? Because if there was something where you do contracts or things and you've got guides on the other side, if everyone's got guides and everyone had a plan coming here, but you know, someone makes a decision and something changes, either we're playing out something that was absolutely going to happen anyway and there's probably no spiritual purpose of playing it out because it's already planned, or like we're trusting in something else.
It's you, Vanessa.
It's a good one. It's a good question.
If you could just answer that in 20 words or less, that's fantastic.
Or you don't have to know, just like
Of course not.
Can you ask the question again, please?
Oh, this time I'll ask it in Sanskrit. No.
So what you're trying
is
what you're trying to say, is it planned, or is it the choices we make change things? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, and in a sense, I'm just kind of pointing out that like either it's all planned out and everything's completely planned out, everything's going to plan with everyone, and everyone's changing everyone's plans on purpose because that's what's meant to happen. So what are we trusting in there if everything's put out? And then if it's not, and if everything's intermingled and everyone's got their own spirit guides or spirit team and everyone's affecting everyone and it's all up in the air, what are we actually trusting in? Are we trusting our spirit team that's doing their best on the other side to try and help you through? Or are we trusting in the system? Are we trusting in each other? Like where is the trust going to?
I believe your spirit team aren't there to like, they're not like your parents. Like, I mean, they are, like, you ask them for help, but we need trust in ourselves. We need, that's why it's your team, because they help you, but like it's a joint mission. Like, it's not like they're the only thing I'm going to trust in. Like, I also have to do the work. I call on them when I need guidance. And I trust that they'll have my back. Just like with a footy team, like everyone's helping each other out. And trusting in the system, like it's just, I believe that things are just meant to happen the way they're meant to happen, because that's what's happened in my personal experience. And, you hear about other people's experiences, you're like, well, something's happening, because you hear about other people's experiences. I know my own. So there is something happening. I'm not sure about the, the scientific, you seem like a kind of like a science guy. Like, you're like, well, what's the science behind it? No,
it's just my masculine brain just trying to rationalize everything in front of me.
That's totally understandable.
Exactly.
Like, is it methodical? No, that's okay. Yeah. So I know that that's what's helped me, and and hearing about other people's experiences too, that I feel like there is something grander that I can't even wrap my head around, because it's so big and so, like, I think it would just blow our heads off if we actually understood it completely.
Some people,
that's a really good answer.
I love it. Some people believe that, like, and I'm gearing towards, because I've heard it a few times in a few different ways, that every time we make a decision, another dimension is created with the other decision. But then it's like how many possible? Because if you're talking about all the other people that are involved in our life and now they have free will and they all make decisions, this tapestry of dimensions would just be never ending. And so our reality on this planet, like in this dimension, is real to us, but there could be other thousands of billions of versions of us in other dimensions, if that's true, playing out different versions of our lives, of different decisions we've made. Maybe
like where one of us didn't wear green to this podcast.
I think it's a bigger deal than that.
Okay, I don't know.
Maybe it's every tiny little decision. So imagine how many, and then it's interwoven with all the other people in your lives and all their decisions. Like, that's full on. Like, is everything that we touch actually even a thing? Like, if there's all these dimensions of everything like that, if you want to blow your brain, like, if that's holy crap.
So if that's all true, then what is really important then with our, like, I'm not saying that is all true, but I'm saying if it is, like, whatever is the reality of our existence, because it could be anything, because even science doesn't even know how stuff goes together. So what's important for our existence then? Like, what are we striving for?
I believe it's connection to oneself and one another, and then to universe and the earth. Because as I've learned on my journey, is that, like, I'm very much so a daydreamer. Like, I love dreaming and thinking about, all the stuff we're talking about right now. I could be here, like, thinking and talking about it for like years. But then grounding and harnessing what you receive from the universe and bringing it into the earth, and it can be the opposite too. So if you're, like, very earthly and you think this is all just, a bunch of BS, then finding a way to connect to higher source, because you might struggle being here. Like, everything seems so rigid and why is everything so systematic? So it's learning how to balance the two together to feel that peace. I believe we're finding peace here. We, you know, first study within ourselves and then connecting to nature, connecting universe. It's all connected, to feel more harmony and peace. And, you know, there's always going to be problems, of course, like in one way of like shape or another, but working through them together and uniting instead of feeling alone and disconnected, because I don't think that's helping us at all.
Yeah,
exactly. And we've been through a big test of that lately, of being like disconnected from actually other people. We've always been finding a way though. So many people sort of did things their own way to try to make sure they were connected, which is really, really nice. And thank goodness for technology and all the other things that we can be grateful for. They're able to do that. I love that purpose. That's beautiful that we're actually supposed to be connected together and figure that out. You don't have to go through anything alone. I believe we are like all this one and the same. So that's a really nice message. If anyone resonates with that, let us know in the comments stuff too, and what you think our purpose, the meaning of life, you know, just an easy question to answer.
I've got all of them. It's interesting though. I like that. So the idea that like, I guess one thing that I subscribe to that I think is correct, and I'm waiting to be proven wrong, is that there's only two things that exist, and that's our experience of what's happening and change. That's it. Everything else comes and goes and may be true and maybe not, but those things that we're experiencing something and change exists. They're the only two constants.
Yeah.
So it's interesting where you're saying, well, I experience all of this stuff that's kind of otherworldly, and I feel it in my being, and I have connection with, you know, spirit teams, and I see signs and all these psychic things happen. So that's what I experience. And I also experience, you know, being a human being, and, you know, when I drink coffee, I need to go for a wee. Like, that's real. Like, I do actually need to go for a wee. Like, that'll happen. So like, you know, so both of those things exist, and it's about balancing them together. I love that. So then the purpose is, well, whatever happens when you balance that together. Okay, that's a great answer.
Yeah. Is that a question? Because I was going to say it feels better when you're balanced than when you're unbalanced. Well, that's what I know is that.
Exactly.
You know,
Great.
Yeah. You know, life feels nice. It feels more, you feel more curious and happy about it, rather than feeling like down in the dumps. Like, I can relate because I still go there. It's not like I don't visit those, but instead I'm more curious about it instead of negative, like having a negative mindset about it. So having more optimism about life, because it is beautiful. There is so many beautiful things about this planet and we're missing it.
Yeah.
Like the difference in someone's energy, that just a little bit of awareness, and the fact that you've been just taking some time to process why you're feeling a certain way is massive, because so many people don't. So and it's really beautiful that there's people like out there like you who can shine your light and let other people find them, if that's what they're drawn to, if they're ready to start noticing the little things and actually enjoying life. Because I'm sure we're here for more things than just getting up, going to work, eating, sleeping and dying. You know, there's way more. There's got to be more. What's the point otherwise? So go find all those things that light you up.
I love that. I've taken notes. So like making a ritual to help ground you back again, respecting yourself and where you're at, and really feeling through stuff and let it flow through rather than block it off and ignore it. And then that balance between both, and finding that balance, and then getting help with it. Don't just try and do it by yourself. I love that. That's like
great tips, Vanessa.
Yeah, awesome.
I hope it's helped.
I'm thinking about like what rituals I can do now for when I can get overwhelmed sometimes, and then I'm just like a scattered mess. So I think a ritual is a really good way to do that. Like, I've got to find, okay, what's my ritual to just bring it back and go, oh yeah, that's right. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. It's nice, because I know a lot of people struggle with when they're in the moment, something that's going to remind them. So it's nice if you have someone in your household too that remembers, that can help like pull you out of it too. They can say, oi, say the magic word or something, and to bring you back to present.
Yeah, or it can even be like putting something in, like if you wake up and have your morning coffee, it could even just be like looking out the window and finding something to be grateful, like the trees. Like, it's that simple. It doesn't need to be complex. It's remembering we're here. We have the sun to like give us what we need. We have food. Like,
There's always,
there's always something. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm a big fan of like having some kind of journal or something to write that down. And that's actually what I say, because people think, oh yeah, but then they never get into the habit of it. Like trying to start a new habit is hard, and it takes a while to call it a habit. You have to do it for like, isn't there some rule about 7 days or 21 days? I don't know, whatever it is.
Like
do something like that for every day. Then
you do it for 2 weeks. Yeah.
Something like, so I say, if you always have a coffee in the morning, or me, I really ritualistically have a peppermint tea every night before bed. So that's when you can have your journal or do your thing, like write just one sentence at least that you're grateful for. If it's not a massive list, it won't feel like a chore, and you're more likely to get into the good habit of doing it every day. If it's just taking you 2 seconds and you remember it's near the, if you always have your cup of tea in bed or on a certain chair, you have it there so you don't forget, and it's right there, no excuses. And it's just one sentence. You can do that, and then if you get in that habit, you might add another one to say not just what you're grateful for, but what you want to manifest for the day, or thank a body part for being awesome or something, especially one that you might usually complain about. Say some nice things to it instead.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Habit to get into. Yeah.
Action equals motivation. People ask me all the time as a hypnotherapist, can you just help me be more motivated? Like, no, it's impossible. Because motivation's overrated. Motivation is like an outcome of action. You know what I mean? You can't just get motivated. If you do something, that will build motivation.
We'll build it, or we'll help you with it, won't we? Like we can help people with the motivation by balancing chakra.
Yeah, amazing.
You'll get that to 100%. Like when that's really healthy, it's easier to do the action because you've had it balanced. So that's a good starter for someone, actually, if they're really finding it hard to take that first action. Go get your chakras balanced.
Definitely, they help so much. I'm so grateful that I found it, because it really did help make shifts to making these practices and rituals easier to implement in my life. So it's really helpful. If you haven't experienced it, I'd highly recommend.
That's amazing.
With Vanessa. So speaking of that, Vanessa, so how do people contact you, and what kind of services do you offer if someone doesn't know what they need and they just want to come and see you because they're like, she's awesome, I connect with her, I want to see you, I don't know what for? What do you do?
I work on so many different things. So this has kind of been my journey and what I've focused on for myself, but I can do so many things. So I do chakra balances, I do oracle card readings, I can even do house clearings, and stuff like that. I love dream analysis. I feel like dreams can tell us so much about ourselves. Everything like that. You can contact me on Instagram at Mystic Goddess Healing.
Woohoo! That is awesome. And it's a very colourful Instagram page too. I love it. Is it called a page? What do I?
Yeah,
am I that old?
Instagram page. No, you're not that. Stop it.
Yep. Now it's so old going. Is it called a page?
Yes, it's called a page. And they can catch you on your MySpace page as well. Is that right? No,
you're taking me back. Oh, the MySpace days.
You're old enough to even know MySpace, Vanessa.
Not found on MySpace. I'm sorry, I interjected with jokes instead of finishing with gratefulness is the key. The wonderful things that you've given us. But thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for your time and your sharing. And it's going to make a big difference. And, it makes a big difference for everyone because we all do struggle through things. And they're really, really good reminders that no matter what you're kind of facing, you can get through.
100%. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much.
Have you got any words of wisdom you'd like to part with? Anything I feel like.
I've asked her for the meaning of life. I've asked her, really?
Yeah,
you've answered everything.
She's got something to say, like one more thing to say before she goes.
No matter where you're at, you're stronger than what you think you are. You can be anything you want to be. There's so many possibilities and out there that you can tap into, and you just have to believe in yourself so strongly. Like you once believed in Santa when you were little. Have that belief in yourself.
I love that. Wow. I told you you had something. Just bang. That's awesome. I love that. If you can believe in yourself, that's like cool. Good job.
So thank you so much for having me. It was such an honor. I love talking to you guys.
Thank you.
That's it for another episode. Thanks to our major supporter, Subtle Energy Sciences. Click the link in the show notes to access their full product range of quantum healing technology.
We're blown away by this technology and are so excited to share it with you.
And of course, we really want to hear from you.
Please leave your comments on our YouTube channel, or for those podcast listeners, you can email us at mickandthepsychic@gmail.com to leave your feedback or questions.
I'm a certified hypnotherapist and timeline regression therapist. If you wish to contact me to explore the source of an issue you're facing, just book a session at hernhypnosis.com and include the promo code MATP for 10% off. You can contact me on Insta and Facebook at hernhypnosis.
Check out my website at optimisticxavier.com.au if you feel you'd like to connect with me as a psychic medium, spiritual mentor, or intuitive coach. Include the promo code MATP for 10% discount. You can also find me on Insta, LinkedIn, and Facebook.
We look forward to connecting with you again next time as we attempt to leave no stone unturned.
Bye.
All right, cool. I reckon that should be okay.